In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about a couple of different aspects of Premiere Pro in terms of the Creative Cloud that are sort of linked, but you might also consider aren't really connected. Anyway, irrespective of this, these two aspects are important, so I'm going to cover them here. First of all, I'm going to talk about how we make sure that our version of Premiere Pro CC is up to date, and from this, if it isn't up to date, how we access the latest versions. And then as we progress through this tutorial, we'll look at synchronizing our settings within Premiere Pro so that we can either be working in the office, to start us off with, have Premiere Pro and Creative Cloud in particular update our preferences and our settings so that when we return home and the boss rings us at 11 o'clock at night and asks us to do some quick changes, then we don't have to set Premiere Pro up, trying to remember the way it is set up back in the office. Anyway, first of all, we'll start off by looking at what version we've got. And I suppose the quickest way of doing this is by coming up to the Help menu, run down to that last option, about Adobe Premiere Pro, and once you select it, then you're going to see this splash screen, and you'll see the version number just underneath there. In this case, it's version 7.2.1, and I'm guessing in brackets there is revision number 4. You might have noticed already, if you are a long-time Adobe user, that each different version of any Adobe program takes on a code name. Well, in this case we are told that Adobe Premiere Pro CC for version 7.2.1, well, the code name is more real. Anyway, to remove our splash screen here, this About splash screen, just select it once more. Okay, so that's how we establish what version we are working on. Dependent on how you've got your preferences set up with Creative Cloud, you can either have Adobe inform you on your toolbar when a new version of any of the Adobe programs are available, or alternatively, you can do it the manual way, and that's by coming up to Help once more and then rolling down to the penultimate option where it says Updates. Once you select this, then you'll see that the Adobe Application Manager opens up, and bearing in mind you do need to be connected to the internet, of course, this might take a few seconds as the Application Manager checks for updates, but after a short amount of time, then you are informed. Well, in this case, I'm told that all my applications are up to date, and this was checked 1 minute ago. If there were some programs within Creative Cloud that weren't up to date, then I would see a list here. Now, as I say, this is all determined by your preferences. I tend to keep up to date because I've got my preferences set that way. I allow Adobe to inform me if any new versions are rolled out. And of course, setting your preferences is no more difficult than clicking on the Preferences button here. And there you'll see on the left-hand side all the particular programs that you've got running on your PC that you want to be informed about once an update has been released. All you need to do is check in the checkboxes. And in fact, if I scroll down, well, there you'll see Adobe Premiere Pro CC has got the checkbox checked, meaning that I will be informed as soon as an update has been released. And I'm informed on my menu bar because I've got this checkbox here, where it says notify me of new updates on the menu bar. Well, I have got that checked. Underneath there is another checkbox. I've got that deselected, but you can select it, of course, if you want Adobe to be informed once the update process has taken place, whether that update has been successful on your machine or not. There's more information about this if you roll over that little I there. Anyway, I'm happy with this, so I'll click on OK, which means I return to the Adobe Application Manager, so I'll just click on the close down cross here. Okay, so that's it really. That's how we update manually from within Premiere Pro. If you want to do it via Creative Cloud, then of course all you need to do is open up Creative Cloud on your desktop, and then you'll be asked to sign in with your Adobe ID, which tends to be your email address, and then simply enter your password. If you make a mistake with your password, by the way, of course it's not going to work. Okay, so just be careful with that. Once you have got the correct password, hitting sign in of course does just that. First of all, you'll see these 5 columns: Home, Apps, Files, Fonts and Behance. Well, within your Home tab, you'll see a chronological list of all the updates that you've recently made via Creative Cloud for your PC. And somewhere within this list, you'll see the update information pertaining to Premiere Pro. Here it is down here. I last updated 73 days ago. If you want to check using this method without having opened Premiere Pro, then you will need to click on your second tab, Apps. And here now you'll see a list of all the Creative Cloud programs on your machine, and if I scroll down towards the bottom here, I can see that Premiere Pro CC is up to date. If for some reason you haven't got Premiere Pro installed, then you would see it right down here within the list of programs that you haven't got installed. And of course you would just simply hit install. Okay, fairly self-explanatory. I'm not going to talk about files and fonts and Behance here. I'll leave that for a different Creative Cloud course, seeing as they're not particularly pertinent to Premiere Pro. Okay, now all I want to do is get rid of Creative Cloud. I'll quit it by clicking up here. Now I know I'm just slightly off screen, but I'll run down to quit. And I'll flick back over to Premiere Pro splash screen.